The Bengals have agreed to record deals, making Jamar Chase the highest paid non quarterback and also T. Higgins the highest paid receiver number two in the league. G'day, guys. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. You're probably thinking, why am I talking about the Bengals? Well, I want to ask a question. Now, I can't stand them. I hate the Bengals. I've hated them for a very long time. Ever since Hushman grabbed a terrible towel and wiped his cleats. I couldn't stand Pac-Man Jones. Didn't like who's the other bloke? Vontez Burfict. Can't stand them. And I love the fact that they've been to the Super Bowl 3 times and they've lost every single one. They're 0-3. Now, I can't stand them. I hate the Bengals. I want to see them lose every single year. But I do want to ask this question. And that question is, should the Steelers copy the Bengals blueprint in terms of receivers? Because this was pretty big news today that was happening with the Bengals. And yeah, they signed both receivers, one to a 4-year deal, $161 million extension. That's Jamar Chase. So he's receiver number one. Higgins got his 4-year deal, $15 million deal. Their newest contracts will make them the NFL highest paid receiver duo. And I looked into it and I found another tweet, and I think it was like $69 million per year of the cap space is taking control of that. Like that's all the money going that direction. Now, our Steelers put a lot of money into the defense, right? We have one of the highest paid defense, I think, in the league, but it looks like the Bengals are going the opposite direction. And it looks like that Joe Burrow needs to go out there and score 45, 46, 47 points and hope the defense can just hang around. Now, I will give them credit. I know it's tough, but I will give them credit. T. Higgins is a great receiver. So to wrap him up for a 4-year deal to be a receiver number two for a long time, and also giving Jamar Chase his extension for a $161 million deal, 4 years as well, the Bengals will have a crazy offense for the next, if long as Joe Burrow is there, and he's a good quarterback too. It's very tough to talk about them how good they are, but it is still pretty funny when that in this case now, if the Bengals, sorry, I thought I saw something. If the Bengals, thought I saw a bloody spider down there, but I didn't, wasn't a spider. If the Bengals were to go on this run the next 4 or 5 years with the Super Bowl window open, have these massive contracts, and still get nothing done in terms of playoff success or winning championships, I think that would be funny. It would be really awesome. But the thing is now, with the looming contract that is, we have DK Metcalf, who signed a 4-year deal, I think it was 5-year deal, 4-year extension, over $150 million with the Steelers, DK Metcalf, to be receiver number one, and George Pickens going into his last year this year. Will the Steelers copy the same blueprint or go the same direction, same route? Will they put all their money and all their eggs in one basket? Now, a bit of a difference is, I guess, the quarterback is we're not paying so much money towards Mason Rudolph. He's got an $8 million contract, $4 million per year. Joe Burrow is on a mega contract as well. But I'm not saying that Mason Rudolph is better than Joe Burrow, but the money's different. But will the Steelers entertain the idea and give Pickens an extension? Right, I think we're going to start thinking about these things, because Najee Harris, he walked and he went to the Chargers for a 1-year deal. The Steelers are trying to get younger, I think, at the defensive line, even though they wouldn't got a rotational piece. Yesterday, I talked to in my video, the guy from the Patriots, but they need to get younger. I think on in D line, I think in cornerback they got Slay there, but they'll go with the draft, and their receivers now, they feel like they're set. You've got Pickens, DK Metcalf, Austin, Ramon Wilson at 4, Ben Skronik at 5, Scotty Miller at 6. But will they copy him? And should they? Right? I want to let you, in the comments below, let me know. Should the Steelers copy what the Bengals did? Not in terms of success. We have 6 championships. They've got 0. They're 0-3. But it's going to be a interesting move, to say the least, when it comes down to when Pickens has if Pickens has a great season this year and they don't trade him in the upcoming draft, or they don't, they got to try and think, well, what's going to happen with his contract? And if he plays good football, Do you lose him to free agency next year, or do the Steelers think about trading him away this year to get picks back, and then also at the same time would use those picks to maybe go and get another receiver in the draft, right? So the Bengals here, even though I hate them, can't stand them, Higgins and Chase are now the highest paid duo that Schefter says, but have they like set this standard in the NFL? If you do have two great receivers, that are they going to warrant the same kind of money? You've already given your money to DK Metcalf in the 5-year deal, 4-year extension, but will the Steelers offer and entertain the idea and give money to George Pickens? Now, I'm okay. If George Pickens stays, I'm okay. But I'm also okay same time if they were to trade him away, get picks back, and bring in a younger receiver with a brand new rookie contract, and then you've got DK Metcalf with his massive contract, and then you work around Austin and see how that plays out. Got Skronik as a teamer for 2 years. Roman Wilson goes into his second year after his injury. What's going to happen there? But I don't know if the Steelers want to do the same thing that they did with both Jamar Chase, a 4-year deal, and a 4-year deal for Higgins. Like, do they want to do the exact same thing? Do the Steelers copy that blueprint where they're spending a lot of their money, cap space, on two players, right? And I think as well, the Steelers this year in the draft, they have to go towards running back somehow, some way. If it's I know they haven't got a pick back yet for the second round, but could be a possibility if you were to trade Pickens, hypothetical, trade him away and get back a second pick. Do you use that second round pick or third round pick for a running back? Do the Steelers get a running back in the first round? The Steelers go D-line in the first round, right? This stuff to me is kind of interesting because I'm thinking about it. Yeah, do they go and change? Will they copy the Bengals blueprint? Or do any teams out there copy the blueprint? Or this is really a crazy idea where the Bengals put all their eggs in one basket or too much money in two receivers, and simply if they win 8 games, 9 games, 10 games, can they make the playoffs? Is this the way to go around to win championships? Or are they wasting all their money into two players, and you can only throw the ball to one person, right? But this year is going to be very interesting to see what the Steelers do as well, because you've got Frymouth, you've got to target him, you've got to target Austin, target DK Metcalf, depending who the QB1 is. I hope it's right now Mason Rudolph. But if you are targeting Metcalf and Pickens on the same team, can they be the Bash brothers from the Mighty Ducks and go out there and wreak havoc? You know what I'm saying? Could be fun to watch, right? But what happens after that? What happens after this year and Pickens has his, I think, final year in his contract? Do the Steelers do something similar? Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below. It's something to think about. They've got, of course, T. Higgins and Chase, and they got this bloke here, Joe Burrow, to throw them the ball. But we've also got DK Metcalf, who had he's been traded to us, and that's still kind of crazy that happened last week. And now the Steelers are trying to figure out who's going to be QB1. I think Mason Rudolph does deserve a shot. I don't want Aaron Rodgers. I'm thinking about if they bring back Wilson, I'm kind of okay with it. But what do the Steelers do in terms of the receiver? Last year was funny. Last year, the Steelers had so many problems at receiver. Now this year, receiver 1, 2, receiver 1's Metcalf, receiver 2's Pickens, receiver 3's Austin, receiver 4, Roman Wilson, receiver 5, Ben Skronik. A much better receiver depth chart this year than last year in 2024. So what problems will they have once Pickens goes through this season? Is there a chance you trade him at the deadline? I think it's like 7 to 8 weeks in. Do the Steelers trade Pickens away now to get picks back to build up their roster? There's a lot of question marks because will the Steelers entertain the idea and copy the blueprint that is the Bengals blueprint? They're not winning, of course, but the Bengals blueprint of having two receivers on the roster and paying them big bucks. They're almost paying them $70 million. When I think the cap, someone can remind me in the comments, the cap space is like $280 million. So they're paying them like almost 25% or like almost near 30% of the available cap space goes to two players. Will that work out? Or will the Bengals yet again suck like they do and the Bengals are going to bungle and win 8 games or start off slow, and Joe Burrow tries to come back near the end but miss the playoffs. I don't know. I have no idea. I wouldn't mind if the Steelers keep Pickens, give him a contract, and work things out, and have 2 bruisers on the outside and deep ball from Mason Rudolph, have a really fun season. At the same time, I can also see the Steelers trading away George Pickens and not entertaining the idea of bringing him back for the contract, and they won't copy that blueprint that is the Bengals, Higgins, and Jamar Chase.